Hey, before we start, check the first pinned comment below. There's a free PDF with the full video transcript, the key vocabulary from this video, and some practice exercises to help you speak English more confidently in your next trip. Download it and follow along. Okay, let's dive in.
Welcome to Stories to Learn English, the channel where your English gets better every day. Hit subscribe and let's get started.
Picture this. You've got the trip booked, bags are, more or less packed, and the big day is finally here. But heading to the airport, there's often that little excitement, yeah, but maybe also a bit of nervousness.
Oh, absolutely. That's a really common feeling.
And the sources we looked at, they really nail this feeling. That moment you walk into the terminal, huge place, lots of signs, and you think, okay, my English is all right, but what exactly are they going to say? What do I need to say? What happens if I just blank, don't understand the agent?
Exactly. It's that specific situation, anxiety.
Okay.
And that is precisely what we're aiming to tackle in this deep dive. We've really broken down that whole airport journey, looking at, the typical spots, the usual interactions, the kind of language that pops up again and again. The idea isn't just like, here's a vocabulary list. It's more strategic.
Right.
It's about giving you the real key phrases, the things you'll actually hear and need to say in those moments. It's kind of like getting a little bit of insider info so you feel prepared, not stressed out.
Turning stress into feeling empowered, maybe?
That's the goal. And our sources, they lay out a pretty clear path for this. They really boil down the essential English you need, all the way from walking up to that first counter right through to immigration. It's about being ready, not necessarily about being perfect.
Perfection's overrated anyway, right?
Especially in language learning. And honestly, understanding the flow of things helps just as much as the words. Airport stuff, it often follows a kind of script. Once you see the pattern and you've got a couple of key phrases tucked away, it suddenly feels way less daunting.
Okay, so let's start walking that path. You're in the door, dragging your suitcase, maybe feeling a bit overwhelmed by the noise and scale. What's task number one? The first hurdle.
That's going to be check-in. Finding the right counter for your airline. This is where you officially connect with the airline for your flight. Even if you checked in online, you probably still need to drop off any bigger bags here, your checked luggage.
Right, the big ones that go underneath.
Exactly. So at the counter, they'll check your ID, make sure you're on the flight, maybe weigh your bags, and give you that all-important boarding pass or check your digital one.
Okay, so you find the right queue, shuffle forward. What are the first things you're likely to hear from the agent behind the desk? What words should be ringing a bell?
Well, they need to know who you are and where you're going. So almost always the very first thing is going to be some version of, may I see your passport and ticket, please? The sources we looked at flagged this as number one.
Gotta have those handy, not buried under everything else.
Definitely. Have them ready to go. Makes things smoother. Then, right after that, expect how many bags are you checking in? They need to know about the bags going in the hold versus what you're carrying on.
Carry on versus checked. Got it.
They need to count the checked ones, put those destination tags on them, and potentially weigh them.
Ah, the dreaded weighing scale moment. What if you've packed a few too many souvenirs already?
Yeah, that can be a worry.
Yep.
Airlines are pretty strict about weight limits, and the fees for overweight bags can be, well, eye-watering sometimes. So the agent might say, please place your bag on the scale. Or you might want to ask first if you're worried.
How would you ask that?
A really useful phrase is just, is my luggage overweight? Simple, direct, better to know up front. They might also just double-check about carry-on. Do you have any carry-on luggage?
Yeah.
Just to be clear, what's staying with you?
Okay, passport, ticket, how many bags, check in the weight. What else happens at check-in? Do they confirm the flight?
Often, yeah. Just a quick confirmation, they might say, so you're flying to London today. Just a yes or that's right is fine. Then, once everything's sorted, they hand over the boarding pass. And this is crucial.
The golden ticket.
Pretty much. They'll often point to it and say something like, your gate number is on your boarding pass. Or maybe boarding time is printed here. That pass has everything. Flight number, departure time, gate, seat. It's your map for the next stage.
So listen for passport and ticket, how many bags, and definitely look for that gate number on the pass. Okay? But what if you need to ask something first? Like you can't even find the right counter.
Great question. Big airports can be confusing. The sources suggest really simple, polite ways to ask. Just find any airport staff member, they often wear uniforms or badges, and say, excuse me, where is the check-in counter for airline name?
Just slot in your airline name, like British Airways or Air France.
Exactly. And starting with, excuse me, is always a good habit. Politeness helps.
Okay, check-in complete, boarding pass in hand. Where do they usually point you next? Feels like it's often towards security.
Yep, the security checkpoint. This is all about making sure nothing dangerous gets onto the plane.
Yeah.
It can feel a bit rushed, people taking things out of bags. But again, the process, the language, it's actually quite standard across most airports.
Right. The trays, the scanners, maybe taking off your shoes. What are the key instructions to listen for from the security officers there?
They need you to prepare your stuff for the X-ray scanners. So you'll definitely hear things about taking items out of your bag. A big one is, please remove your laptop from your bag. Laptops, sometimes tablets too, usually need their own tray.
Okay, laptop out. What else?
You might hear, empty your pockets. Keys, coins, phones, gotta come out. Sometimes take off your belt or please remove your shoes, though the shoe thing can vary. And they'll definitely be asking about liquids.
The little plastic bag rule.
Exactly. They might ask, do you have any liquids or gels in your bag? Or tell you, please take out your bag of liquids. Remember that 100 milliliter limit per container, all inside one clear bag.
Got it. And after your bags slide into the machine, you have to walk through something too, right?
Yes, either a simple metal detector arch or one of those full body scanners. If it's the body scanner, they'll guide you on how to stand. You'll hear things like, step forward, or please step into the scanner. And usually, raise your arms. It's quick, just a few seconds. Then they'll say, okay, or you can go.
This seems like a place where understanding quickly is really important. You don't want to hold up the line or misunderstand an instruction. The sources had a really crucial tip for this, didn't they? A phrase.
And it's vital. If you don't understand something an officer says, maybe it's noisy, maybe they spoke fast. The worst thing is to just guess or freeze. The best thing, politely ask them to repeat it.
How do you say that?
The simple, universally understood phrase is, could you repeat that, please? Adding the please keeps it polite. Honestly, they'd much rather say it again clearly than have confusion. Don't feel awkward about asking.
Could you ask them to speak slower, too?
Yes, absolutely. If speed is the issue, you can say, I'm sorry, could you speak more slowly? Totally acceptable. Clarity is key for everyone in security.
That's brilliant. Just having those phrases ready. Could you repeat that, please? And could you speak more slowly? Takes away so much potential stress. Okay, security conquered. Gather your things, put your shoes back on. Now you're airside, in the main departure area. Feels a bit calmer, but there's still information flying around.
Oh, yeah, the departure lounge, it's buzzing. And a big part of that buzz is the announcements coming over the loudspeakers. Information about boarding, delays, gate changes, it's constant. And yeah, it can sound really fast or unclear sometimes.
So how do you filter through all that noise, especially if English isn't your first language? How do you catch the bit that applies to you? What are the magic words to listen for?
The main takeaway from the sources here is, don't try to understand everything. You'll drive yourself crazy. Focus on listening for keywords related specifically to your flight. Your airline name you know, Air Canada, Emirates. Your flight number like flight AC123 or EK456. Your destination to Paris, to Singapore. The status update words like now boarding, final boarding call, delayed, gate change, and of course the gate number, gate B5, gate 27. Train your ear for those bits.
Can you give us an example, like what might a full announcement sound like with those keywords?
Sure, you might hear something like, good evening passengers. This is an announcement for Air Canada flight AC123 to Paris. This flight is now boarding at gate B5. See, airline, flight number, destination status, now boarding, gate number.
Okay, I hear those pieces. What about a delay?
Might sound like, attention passengers on Emirates flight EK456 to Singapore. We regret to inform you that this flight is delayed due to air traffic control restrictions. Please await further announcements. Keywords there. Airline, flight number, destination status delayed, reason air traffic control.
Or the dreaded gate change.
Yeah, that happens. Passengers traveling on flight BA789 to London. Please be advised of a gate change. This flight will now depart from gate 27, not gate 15 as previously announced. Flight BA789 to London, now departing gate 27. Keywords, flight number, destination, gate change, new gate number, old gate number.
Focusing on those key details makes it seem much more manageable, but airports are noisy places. What if you zone out for a second, or you just aren't sure if that was your flight they mentioned?
Never just guess or rely only on announcements. The sources are very clear on this. The number one backup is to regularly check the big departure screens. They're all over the terminal. Find your flight number on the screen, and it will show the destination, the schedule time, the gate, and the current status, like on time, delayed boarding, gate closed.
Those screens are your best friend.
Absolutely. And plan B is always to ask someone. Go to an information desk or approach any airline or airport staff member. Show them your boarding pass and ask simply, "Excuse me, what's the status of this flight?" Or, "Could you confirm the gate for this flight?" Don't hesitate to double-check.
Screens and staff. Got it. Okay, you've navigated check-in security, you're monitoring the announcements and screens. For international trips, there's often one more big interaction point. Sometimes before security, sometimes after, sometimes on arrival immigration. This one seems to cause the most anxiety.
It really does. Standing in front of that immigration officer, knowing they decide if you enter the country, yeah, it feels high stakes.
Yeah.
That thought the sources capture. What if I don't get the question right? What if I say the wrong thing? It's totally understandable.
But you said these things often follow a script, too.
Exactly. That's the reassuring part. While officers can ask anything, most stick to a very standard set of questions. Their job is basically to confirm, who are you? Why are you here? How long are you staying? Are you planning to leave?
Okay, predictable is good. So what are the absolute must-know questions from the source material? What should you be ready to answer?
Top of the list, almost guaranteed, is what is the purpose of your visit? Be ready with a simple answer. Tourism, business, visiting family, study, whatever your actual reason is.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple and truthful. Next up, how long do you plan to stay? Or how long will you be in the country? State the duration clearly. 10 days, 3 weeks, 2 months.
Got it. What else?
They'll likely ask, where will you be staying? You need to provide your accommodation info at the Marriott Hotel in New York or with my sister in Chicago. Having the address handy, maybe written down, is smart. And they often want to know you plan to leave. Do you have a return ticket?
And the answer is usually just yes.
Yes is often enough. Sometimes they might follow up with, when is your return flight? So know the date. It's on July 25th.
The sources really hammer home keeping answers short and clear, right? No need for a life story.
Absolutely. Simple, factual answers are best. Let's try a few combinations. Officer. Purpose of visit. You. Tourism. I'm here for 2 weeks. Officer. Where are you staying? You. At the Grand Hyatt Hotel. Simple as that.
Okay. Maybe officer, purpose of visit. You. Visiting my brother. Officer. How long? You. 1 month. Officer. Where? You. At his house in Toronto.
Perfect. Practice those kinds of short exchanges based on your trip details.
But what if, despite the practice, in that moment you just don't understand the officer's question? The accent, the phrasing.
Okay, deep breath. Same strategy as security. Don't guess, don't panic. Use your clarification phrases. It is perfectly okay and actually necessary to say, could you repeat that, please?
That magic phrase again.
It really is. Or if they're speaking too fast, I'm sorry, could you speak more slowly? Remember, these officers deal with international travelers all day long. They're used to language barriers. They want you to understand so you can answer accurately. Calm, polite requests for clarification are totally fine.
Good. Good to know. So after you get the stamp in your passport at immigration, sometimes there's one more checkpoint, right? Customs?
Yes, customs. The focus shifts here. Immigration was about you entering the country. Customs is about the things you're bringing into the country.
Like goods, food, money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're checking if you're bringing in anything that's restricted, like certain foods or plants, prohibited, or if you have goods over a certain value that might require you to pay taxes or duty. For most regular tourists, it's usually very quick.
What's the main question they ask at customs?
The big one you'll almost always hear or see on the declaration form is, do you have anything to declare?
Meaning anything unusual or taxable?
Precisely. They might also ask specifically about certain things, like, are you carrying more than $10,000 in cash? Or the local currency equivalent. Many countries have a limit you need to declare. Or, are you bringing in any meat, dairy products, or fresh fruit? Or the security question, did you pack your bags yourself?
And if you're just a regular tourist with clothes and souvenirs, what's the simple answer to, do you have anything to declare?
The most common, truthful answer is simply, I have nothing to declare. If you bought some gifts, but you know they're under the allowed duty-free limit, you could say just some small gifts within the allowance. Honesty is key, but the sources reassure us most travelers pass through customs with just that one question.
Brilliant. Okay. Check-in, security, announcements, immigration, customs. Phew, you've run the gauntlet, you're officially in. But the sources we reviewed didn't stop there, did they? They had some great tips for making the whole trip smoother, starting even before you leave home.
That's right. A successful trip isn't just about surviving the airport. It's about smart prep beforehand and knowing a few things for once you're out and about. Makes the whole experience less stressful and lets you actually, enjoy it more.
Let's talk packing smart. What absolutely must go in your carry-on bag, not the checked one, the non-negotiables?
Okay, number one, zero question. Your passport and all travel documents. Visas, flight confirmations, maybe hotel booking confirmation. You need these constantly at the airport. Keep them secure but accessible.
Don't check your passport.
Never. Also surprisingly useful. A pen. You often need one for landing cards or customs forms right before you land or just after. Chargers for your phone, maybe a power bank. Your phone is your lifeline map, translator, communication. Keep it charged.
Good point. What else?
That small, clear bag for liquids under 100 milliliters each. Have it ready for security. And personally, I always recommend a light sweater or jacket. Planes and airports can get surprisingly chilly. Better to have it with you than shivering in your checked bag.
Solid advice. Now, what about travel essentials for after you leave the airport? Things to sort out once you've arrived.
Okay, think immediate needs. Currency exchange. It's usually smart to have a small amount of local cash for arrival, maybe for a bus ticket, a coffee, a taxi if cards aren't taken. But the sources generally agree for bigger spends. Using a credit card with low or no foreign transaction fees is often cheaper than exchanging lots of cash.
Check your card fees before you go.
Definitely. Then, mobile apps. We mentioned chargers, but the apps themselves are key. Download translation apps, some work offline, map apps, download offline maps for your destination, and maybe local ride-sharing apps before you leave home. Don't rely on finding good Wi-Fi immediately upon arrival.
Pre-trip digital prep. Makes sense.
And finally, a little bit of homework on local customs and rules. Just the basics, typical etiquette, how public transport works, any major cultural no-nos. It just helps you navigate daily life more smoothly and respectfully.
And the source is warned about some common, easily avoidable mistakes, too. Planning pitfalls.
Yeah, a few big ones that can cause real trouble. First, not checking visa requirements properly. Don't assume you don't need one based on what a friend did. Check the official embassy website for your nationality and your destination well in advance.
Crucial. What else?
Forgetting about time zone differences sounds basic, but it trips people up. Double, triple check all flight departure and arrival times based on the local time in that city. Don't miss a flight because you mixed up AM, PM, or time zones.
Oh, I can see that happening easily.
And the last one, not having important addresses easily accessible offline. Your hotel address, maybe a contact person's address, have it written down or save somewhere on your phone you can access without data or Wi-Fi. You might need it for immigration, a taxi, or just finding your way back.
Write it down. Old school, but reliable.
Sometimes the old ways are best.
Okay, this is fantastic practical advice. We've got the procedures, the phrases, the packing tips, but now let's really focus on the feeling. For someone learning English, knowing the words is one thing. Feeling confident enough to actually use them in that fast-paced airport environment. That's the real challenge, isn't it? How do the sources suggest bridging that gap?
This is where it shifts from just knowing to doing. Confidence, the sources stress, really comes from practice. And importantly, from mental rehearsal. It's about actively imagining yourself in those situations and practicing your responses so they feel more automatic.
Like running drills in your head.
Exactly. Or even better, out loud, simulate the interactions.
Okay, let's try that. Like the source suggested. Role play check-in. I'm the agent. Good morning. Passport and ticket, please.
Okay, I'm the traveler. I'd practice saying calmly, good morning, here you are. Or maybe, sure, here's my passport and my e-ticket on my phone.
Thank you. How many bags are you checking in today?
Just this one suitcase. Or, I have 2 bags to check.
Okay. And any carry-on?
Yes, this small backpack.
See?
Practicing those simple lines makes them feel less foreign when you actually have to say them. What about seat preference?
Oh, yeah. Would you prefer a window or an aisle seat?
Practice your preference. An aisle seat, please, or window seat if possible. Knowing the difference, aisle is the corridor, window is, well, the window and having the phrase ready avoids hesitation.
Let's try immigration. Feels more intense. Officer me. Purpose of your visit.
Traveler you. Practice saying clearly, tourism, or I'm here on holiday, or business conference.
Officer me. How long will you be staying?
Traveler you. For 10 days, or until August 1st.
Officer me. Where are you staying?
Traveler you. At the Hilton Garden Inn, or with my friend in Brooklyn. Practice your actual details out loud. It really helps cement it.
What if you just need directions? You're standing there looking lost.
Practice the polite approach. Excuse me, could you tell me where gate 42 is? Or, pardon me, I'm looking for the baggage claim. Could you help me? Or even just pointing at your boarding pass and asking, excuse me, which way to this gate?
So practicing these specific scenarios is key. But the sources mentioned other ways to practice too, right? Not just role-playing by yourself.
Definitely. Mix it up. Flashcards can work question on one side, your practiced answer on the other. Simple but effective. But really powerful is interacting with native or fluent speakers.
How can people do that before a trip?
Loads of ways now. Use language exchange apps, find someone online to chat with, specifically practice travel English. Join online forums about travel or your destination. Just reading how people talk helps, and sometimes you can participate. Watch YouTube videos about airports, travel vlogs set in airports. Get your ear tuned to the language in that specific context.
Immerse yourself in airport English before you even get there.
Exactly. Familiarity breeds confidence.
Beyond all the practice, the sources also talked about mindset, that internal feeling. If you're standing there feeling nervous, what's the most crucial thing to tell yourself?
The absolute core message is, it's about communication, not perfection. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need a huge vocabulary. You don't need to sound like a native speaker. The goal is simply to be understood and to understand the basics. Airport staff talk to people from all over the world every single day. They're used to different accents and levels of English.
So if you make a mistake or forget a word or don't understand, it's not the end of the world.
Not at all. It's completely normal. The key is how you handle it. Don't panic. Don't just stay silent. Use those phrases we practiced. Could you repeat that, please? Could you speak more slowly? I'm sorry, I don't understand. Take a breath. Use simpler words if you need to. Use gestures. Pointing is universal.
Focus on what you do know how to say.
Precisely. Use the phrases you practiced. Keep your sentences simple. And maintain a polite, friendly attitude. A smile and a calm demeanor go a surprisingly long way in smoothing interactions, even if your language isn't perfect.
So the mindset itself is a tool, believing you can manage it.
It really is. Remind yourself. I've prepared. I know the key phrases. I know the procedures. I know it's okay to ask for help. Think about all the other non-native speakers who travel successfully every day. You can do it too. And every single trip you take, you will get better and more confident.
And ultimately, all this preparation is so you can actually enjoy the trip.
That's the whole point. Don't let language anxiety overshadow the amazing experience of travel. Prepare, practice, trust yourself, and then focus on the adventure ahead.
Wow, we have really covered a lot today. From those first check-in jitters, through the security vans, decoding announcements, handling those immigration questions, knowing what to declare at customs, plus all the smart packing and travel tips. We've really mapped out the key moments.
And crucially, we've pinpointed these specific English phrases and the communication strategies that work best in those moments. Remembering that goal. Clear understanding, not flawless English. That's the key takeaway.
And the sources really ended on that note of practice, practice, practice. So what are those final concrete steps someone listening can take, like right now, to make all this sink in?
Keep the momentum going. Don't just listen and forget. Grab that PDF we mentioned, or just replay parts of this. Say the key phrases out loud. Practice answering the immigration questions in front of a mirror, using your own travel details. Seriously, it works. If you can, find someone to practice with, a friend, a tutor, an online language partner. Role-play those airport scenes.
Make the phrases feel natural before you need them.
Exactly. The more you use them, even in practice, the less you'll have to think when you're actually standing at the counter or the immigration booth. It'll come up more easily.
So what does all this mean? Well, I think our deep dive really shows that tackling the airport in English isn't about knowing everything. It's about having the right tools, the key phrases, the understanding of the process, and the confidence to use them. And maybe the biggest thing is realizing that every single interaction, every time you ask for directions or order a coffee abroad, it's just more practice, making you better for the next time. The whole world kind of becomes your English classroom. So are you ready for your next trip? If this guide helped you, leave a comment with the phrase you found most useful. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It tells YouTube to show you more content like this to support your learning. Safe travels, and see you in the next lesson.
And hey, congratulations for watching this video until the end. Seriously, that shows you're committed to improving your English. Keep going with it. You are definitely on the right path. And I'll see you in the next video.